Welcome back. My name is Brandon, and I'm with the Resiliency Resource Center. This is the second of 8 sessions to help with finding your focus. And with each session, it's important to set your intentions. So, taking a moment to clarify for yourself, why was it important for you to show up today, to kick play on this? It may be literally to find your focus. Maybe you've lost it. Maybe you've come to be more present with others, learn more about mindfulness. Whatever your reason is for showing up, make sure you are aware of that intention. It's a nice reminder to come back to when our focus will inevitably drift away from the material and practice. Today, we actually learn a little more about our wandering mind as well. So, we'll also look at how the breath may be used to overcome it. So, maybe write this intention down, maybe sit with it, anchor with it, acknowledge your purpose and reason, and maybe use that as a way to commit to this full practice today. So, let's get to it. Today, we are looking at focus on the wandering mind and ways mindful breathing comes into that. And certainly, we all experience this wandering mind. Maybe when we're reading something, our minds wander somewhere else. After our attention follows our mind, we usually are faced with frustration, as if we focused wrong or wasted our time, and we repeat and reread. It's a universal feeling, but even more frustrating with symptoms of ADHD. So, in this step of the program, we will focus on the breath as a way to curb a wandering mind and train our attention. So, be kind, be patient. So, let's ponder the breath for a bit as I take one, as I invite you to take one. Breathing is something we do every day. We may not realize its power as a tool for developing focus and self regulation. So, here's two key points about breath awareness. The mind can go to the past, the present, or future, but our breathing is always happening in the present. Focusing on the breath can therefore keep us alert, anchored to the now. Over time, the practice of focusing and refocusing on the breath strengthens our ability to resist the pull of a wandering mind. Our breathing happens automatically throughout the day. Luckily for us, imagine having to consciously direct each breath. We wouldn't be able to do anything else. What happens if you were to get distracted? With ADHD, you'd be constantly having to catch your breath. At the same time, breathing, like attention, is one of those things where, in addition to automatic regulation, we also have the ability to consciously intervene. We can change the rate and depth of our breathing at will by taking a deeper breath whenever we want to. We can then begin to change our body physiology from stressed and reactive to relaxed and stable. Our breath is the door to changing our mind body state. So let's take some time to notice the breath in 3 different places: the nostrils, chest, and belly. You'll see in each of these spots maybe how easy or difficult it is for you to notice the breath there. You can do this with eyes open or closed, but closing eyes tends to help focus on the inner sensations and experience this meditation fully, on just breathing. So, starting with the nostrils, just focus on the area around, just below your nostrils. You may notice a sensation of subtle movement, tickling, or coolness. Maybe you notice how the inhale is slightly cooler than the warmth felt on the exhale through the nostrils. Maybe focus on now the rising and falling sensations with the breath in the chest area, maybe of the rib cage. And just for several breaths, maybe you can also put one of the hands on your chest. Sense the movement through your hand. Explore the breathing through your chest by exaggerating this movement of the upper chest, maybe shoulders, shoulder blades, and just noticing how you feel breathing in this space. Noticing what you're noticing. And now focus on the rising and falling of your lower abdomen. Place your hand on your belly, maybe to help feel the movement here. Imagine you are inflating maybe a balloon below your belly button. Notice how you feel. And maybe even having one hand on the chest and one on the belly. Breathing naturally. Notice if you tend to breathe more through the chest, which hand is moving more. Maybe breathing deeper through the belly. Expanding on an inhale. Moving in on an exhale. And maybe now just letting the hands rest maybe in the lap or next to you. As we just use this brief awareness of the breath to help us engage in our formal meditation on mindful breathing for a few more minutes. So make sure you're actually in a comfortable sitting position, relaxed, alert, yet comfortable. And just maintain a posture of strength, aware of your spine, your intention to be present with the breath as you sit for a few minutes. With your hands placed in your lap, noting your intention. I'm going to practice focusing on my breath right now. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to simply rest in this moment. Let your usual preoccupations or a need to do something else just fall into the background. You've chosen to just breathe. Maybe focus on your breath in one spot, at the nostrils, the chest, or the belly. Bring your full attention to your breath. Notice the natural flow of air coming and going out. If you notice your mind has wandered, such as to sounds outside or to thoughts, that's okay. Simply, with your own focus, remind yourself of your intention and return to the breath for a few more minutes. If your mind wanders off 100 times, gently bring it back 100 times. Back to the breath, over and over again. Practice being kind to yourself with this awareness. For a few moments, let go of judgments of how you are experiencing this, as good or bad. What else needs to be done? Simply be curious about how the breath is breathing in the mind and body. Simply breathing, maybe beginning to take a few deeper breaths now, starting to bring attention back to the room, picturing that if the eyes were closed, noticing where you are in the space. And with the next few breaths, just pausing, not to go to the next thing of this or pausing this to move on, but pausing to offer yourself some appreciation for taking time to pause, for breathing, for allowing the body to breathe, for training your attention and awareness, connecting more fully with yourself in the present moment, in this moment. And as usual in our practice, you can pause this video to stretch, maybe write some reflections of what you noticed, and bringing attention to the breath, maybe in the nostrils, the chest, the belly, maybe something that was surprising, challenging, enlightening, a feeling. Take note of it. It's something you're doing different than how we usually go about breathing. So, as you may have noticed, mindfulness is just as much about returning to the breath as staying with the breath. Even talking now can't fully just breathe. So, there's this ability to even pause now and return. As mentioned earlier, we can do this whenever we choose to. The challenge is certainly some of these obstacles to being present. These are some of the common ones, certainly, um, of obstacles, maybe challenges, internally, externally, that sort of show up when practicing mindfulness. These show up for even seasoned mindfulness practitioners. When we can better understand these obstacles we face, we can then learn better ways to face these obstacles. In a mindfulness based strength practice, participants are taught how to use these obstacles as opportunities. We can use these challenges to learn more about how to respond to our mind, to our body, and how important this role the breath plays in our present moment contact. So we see our wandering mind is certainly there. This could come with planning and judging, right? Maybe we're trying to prepare for something. I know sometimes I'm in a meditation thinking of what I need to do later, whether that is what I want to eat, what I'll need to organize to get that, and yet it's maybe 9:30 in the morning. Um, so some of these things will show up when maybe our intent is to focus or to breathe or to relax or to concentrate. So it's not that our wandering mind isn't great for our imagination, our adventure, and our creativity and our curiosity. Our planning mind is actually great for safety and self preservation and solving problems. Our judging mind, we know, is about our critical thinking, and sometimes we can overuse that in comparisons, or when we're just trying to breathe. Am I doing it right? Um, what's up with my breath? So we want to be able to use these things certainly when we need them to prepare, to critically think. And when we're practicing mindfulness, we are just bringing purposeful attention to the present moment without judgment. So even though we might notice different distractions, maybe sensations, even feelings of restlessness or agitation, pain and discomfort, it's about bringing our attention back to our purpose, and maybe even sometimes just the breath. Specifically with ADHD, we know boredom, lack of interest, energy, pleasure, some of these things will show up. So it's important to identify these so we can know maybe what to do with them and how to face them differently. Another way to really do this and kind of practice mindfulness with these obstacles and face them, is practice mindful walking. So, this is something we can do indoors or outdoors. When indoors, certainly, in this next space, you don't need a lot of space, as you can maybe even walk back and forth on a straight line, or maybe a pattern in the room. If outdoors, certainly consider safety. We'll practice mindful walking briefly now as we close out our session too. Um, and certainly, as we saw with the breath, something we do throughout the day, sometimes even automatically. What happens when we bring awareness and attention to it? Um, if you have the space and ability to practice this mindful walking meditation, um, we'll do that with almost this same attention, curiosity, self regulation, and examining almost how the body shows up in this moment. So, doing that in a way that feels right for you, you can maybe step away from this if you need to stand at this point. Maybe you listen to this meditation, consider some of the prompts, and maybe practice in another space. Either way, we'll begin now, actually just standing. So, once you have identified a place you will be walking for a few minutes and able to hear this, we want to hold a standing position. Bring awareness to the breath and your posture. Almost noticing an imaginary line from the top of the head down the neck and spine, through the legs to the floor. And just holding this posture of strength. Maybe connecting with the breath again. Not only in the nostrils, the chest, or the belly, but wherever it shows up in the body, so you can anchor in, returning once again back to the breath during this. Maybe you bring attention back to the body, back to sensations. Over and over again, notice what you're noticing as you keep some of these ideas in mind. But with the next breath, noticing the sound of the bell, begin to slowly walk, eyes softly open, focused in a short distance in front of you. Avoid looking around, as that can be distracting. If you get pulled into something in your space, maybe something you need to do or forgot about, notice you are mindfully walking for a few minutes. Note that as a distraction. And gently bring awareness back. Keep yourself aware of where you're going in the space you're in. And begin to focus on the sensations of the breath. as you slowly walk. Maybe, if you like, play around with synchronizing your breathing with your footsteps. Maybe, for example, as you step with the right foot, you can inhale. And as you step with your left foot, you can exhale. It can also bring a sense of curiosity to areas of the body while walking, noticing the parts of the feet that touch the ground beneath you, the arch, the ball, the toes. Although walking may feel automatic, highlight how you can really slow down your steps and pace with your own control. And maybe you notice the wandering mind, the judging mind, how much longer, maybe thoughts about the space, maybe distractions. Bringing attention back to the breath, maybe slowing the pace, maybe walking normally, maybe observing other sensations. Is there gratitude for what you're noticing in the body and the legs supporting you as you pick one up and place one down? What do you notice in the nostrils, the chest, or the belly? How are the shoulders, the arms? Are they in front of you? Are they moving by your side? You're just bringing purposeful attention to the process of mindfully walking. Just notice what you're noticing. Very often are moving from A to B, zooming in and zooming out. Take time to be a part of this process, the mind, the body, the breath as you walk. And just use the next few breaths to notice your posture, your body. And maybe coming to a pause, another standing position here. Maybe feet shoulder width apart. And notice how the breath is still present in this moment. Maybe just bringing some awareness to how it enters and exits the body, how the body feels now. And before the planning or wandering mind comes back, just sitting with this awareness to notice what you're noticing in the mind and body right now. As you take one more deep breath, maybe now fully in through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. So that's our mindfulness practice for session 2 of finding your focus using the mindfulness prescription here for adult ADHD. In finding your own focus, until next time, a few reminders. And remember to notice the breath throughout the day. Pause to sense the rising and falling sensations of breathing on purpose, maybe scheduled throughout the day. As you are even listening to this now, simply notice your breath. Mindful breathing is a powerful way to connect more fully with what you're doing in each moment. It also creates a conscious choice. Maybe even taking one deep breath before starting an activity can make a difference with focus and awareness. Practice 5 minutes of mindfulness, of mindful breathing, just once a day. It's going to be by repeating the mindful breathing meditation part of this video, maybe exploring other options, using many of the mindfulness apps available, or maybe YouTube to find a guided mindful breathing exercise to experience. Maybe you guide yourself. Use visual reminders, set alarms, or make sure to schedule time for these practices. Be intentional when you do. Formal practices or even informally weaving mindfulness into your daily living. And practice mindful walking once a day. And the way you did, maybe during this exercise, maybe in this autopilot path you take to a particular place at times. Maybe when you wake up and want to reorient to the space you're in. Try it once a day. Take note of it. See what shows up. So that's it for session 2. Thanks for tuning in, taking your time to find your focus. We hope you take purposeful care. See you soon.